There are so many places and ways to sell your art that are not art galleries. And if you are starting to feel like it's time for you to think about selling your art, this is a good place to start. I have done all of these and they have been great. And instead of telling you about them, I thought that I would show you. Each one of these ideas really deserves its own video, but hopefully this gets your mind percolating. My first solo art show was here in the main living area at our house. I think your home is the perfect place for an art show. You have control over your environment and you can prepare far in advance if you want. And your friends and family can come in a relaxed environment and support you. Here is a shot from my show. This is what it looks like now. And a lot of that art is friends' work. And where that map is where I had these pieces for that first art show, and it was awesome. Second place is your front yard. In 2020, there was an idea that somebody had in our neighborhood to have a walking art fair just outside our front doors, and it has continued on. There is the flyer for it. I passed those flyers out at sunset, and it was really successful. People were out walking around, and I just sold art from my front yard. And our neighborhood continues to do this, and even though it's not a pandemic anymore, I think it would be worth it to organize a walking art fair in your neighborhood if it makes sense, or even in your apartment building. If you live in condos or apartment building, you could find other artists in your building and then have a walking art fair like that, going from condo or apartment to apartment. A community hall or community center is an awesome place to have a pop-up art show, especially if you can do it with friends and you can all chip in on the rent and invite everybody you know, and you'll have maybe some overlapping friends, but I think that bringing several different people's extended groups together creates a really wonderful experience. And a few of us did this in this building and had a group art show. And I don't have a picture of it, but it was so fun. We had a wonderful time and we sold art. It was great. If you have a place that you go regularly, a cafe perhaps, where you know the owner and you know the people who work there, of course, if they have walls, they're going to want to show your art. They love you and they're going to love your art. And so I think if they regularly show art, then that'll be a no-brainer. Or you could even propose to them the idea and show them a couple of pieces or a couple of photos of the pieces that you're thinking about hanging. I wound up doing this at this establishment. It was actually one owner ago, but I wound up having an art show at this place. But right now, this place is called Watson's Counter, and they have incredible coffee. Look at that. Oh my goodness. It's so good. So although I haven't shown art at this particular in this particular iteration of this place, here's what the place looks like. And as you can see on this far wall, that is a good place for art. And I think they probably should show art if they haven't started doing it yet. This is what it looked like back when I had a show there. And it was the first time that I sold pieces to total strangers who never even saw me or knew me. I love showing art at shops. People are already spending their money. And so I love this particular shop. I got my first show here years ago when I was trying on shoes, and I really hit it off with the person who was helping me try things on. And I told her I was an artist, and she said, "Oh, you should have a show here." And then she introduced me to the owner, and now we're all friends. And this is actually scenes from my third show at this place. And I love them so much. Market Street Shoes is such a wonderful store, and I love everybody who works there. In case you haven't noticed, showing art around your neighborhood is a very heartwarming experience. You can take your art to the street. This summer, our neighborhood is going to have a seafood fest, which will include arts and crafts tents. And so I'm going to have a booth there, and we'll see how it goes. Here's an example of my tent from another art fair recently. So, among your art friends, keep in touch with each other about who might have access to a random building. A friend of ours had this building. She actually owned it at the time, and it's clearly something else now. But when we used it a couple of times, it was so fun and really, really talk about heartwarming. And here's a little shot of us setting up for it. Um, like this moment was really special to me. I knew all of these people and they were really great. And it just felt like, I don't know, like we were camping together or something. It was like really crowded and really wonderful. And it was a fantastic party. And that year I was obsessed with making ornaments for some reason. So there they are. Okay, this one's kind of next level, making a collective just so you can sell art, but that's kind of what we did. This is the Ballard Collective, and we made it into something really, really cool. This is an old building that used to be a flower shop, and any day now it's going to get sold and torn down. So the rent is actually crazy cheap. But look at this. It's like an old flower shop, but part of this is now kind of a small gallery. So we have a small group show that we are doing together. And everybody in the building is either artists or musicians, small business owners, and healing practitioners. And oh, yeah, this is an older piece of mine that I am showing in this group show. Anyway, if you can find a place and you can get people, having a collective is really amazing. And if you don't have the bandwidth to do that, because let me tell you, it does get in the way of your painting. I'm just warning you. Maybe there's a collective in your city or your town that you could join. This is my studio area that I share with 5 people, and it's a mess right now because we're getting ready for that street fair that I mentioned just now. And yeah, this is my work area, and I'm just randomly showing you stuff. Here is a painting. Yeah, I'm not really sure what, like, I'm just showing it to you. I don't know why I'm showing it to you right now. This is not necessary, is it? I might take this part out. Or maybe I'll leave it in. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? Well, anyway, that's a lot of places. That's 8 places, and that will keep a person busy for quite a while. So you might be thinking, yeah, but like, I don't have a full body of work that I feel like I don't feel ready to sell, right? Here's what I have to say about that. If you are excited about what you're making and you feel like somebody might like it, but maybe your style is all over the place, let's say, I'd say go for it. And here's why. These are very sort of homegrown, at least most of them are kind of homegrown kind of vibes. And all of them are extensions of you, all of these artworks that you've made. And you had to get them out of your system. And I don't know if you've looked very closely at some of those shows that I shared, but my style was definitely all over the place. I had a lot of things to get out of my system, and I still do. I don't want to convey that I have my art all figured out, because I do not. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to share it with other people or sell it to other people if it makes them happy to have it in their homes. And I think as long as you are really turned on by what you're doing with half a mind to thinking about, is this something that people would actually want to have on their walls? I'd say go for it and see what happens. I think that there's no way to really find out, how it's going to go over without just putting it out there. But ultimately, it is so incredibly satisfying to put the work out there, have people look at it and interact with it and love it, and then even buy it, so that there's this kind of feeling of movement, I guess. And anyway, I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, please do ask. I have tons more to say about all of this, but this is a good starting point. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.